today. You ready? Let's get our voices. Okay, hey ladies. Hi. Hi YouTube. I'm the Bronze Bombshell, Shelby Ivy Christie, and I'm here today to talk to you about 5 huge career mistakes that girls make in their 20s. Why does it seem like when we're in our 20s, we have all these career fails? I mean, we're 20, we're still learning, so it's okay, but I'm here to stop you because I'm coming up on 24. And it's like, we creeping out of the 20s, so let's just nip it in the bud right here. And I feel like some of you may have some concerns or some questions about, am I doing the right thing on my journey to my dream career? So I'm here to answer those questions and address some of these mistakes, because let's not be shamed, all of us have made some of these at one point in time. So let's just get right in, girl. So the first one is, you aren't taking enough risks. Obviously, we see these super successful women. We all have the one that we look up to, and we're just like, oh my gosh, I want her job, I want her closet, I want her. And we see this kind of Instagram-y editorial look about them, but you have to realize that woman probably had to make more than a few huge risks in order to get to where she was. And just an example of that, me, myself, I had to move all the way to New York for the fall semester of 2011. I interned, I was there by myself, and a lot of times, you know, I realized how huge an opportunity it was and how great it was to be at W Magazine and Condé Nast, but I had to be away from my friends, I had to be away from college, I didn't have the traditional college experience, and I had to take that risk and make that sacrifice in order to get to the next step in my career. So whatever it is that you're questioning, you know, if you're trying to send a pitch story to your favorite magazine, go ahead and send it. What's the worst they can say? No? And no is just sometimes redirection and not rejection. And what if they actually say yes? I mean, then you're published. I mean, come on. So whatever it is that you think is too big or too high up there on the totem pole to do, just go ahead and do it. Take the risk. It's going to pay off in the end. The next career mistake that some people tend to make is saying what your job is not. And you know how y'all do. That ain't my job, child. That ain't what they hired me to do. My title says such and such and such and such. You don't want to do that because it comes off as inflexible. It also comes off as arrogant. And your self-entitlement is going to get in the way of you chasing your dreams. It's never becoming to seem, you know, self-absorbed. And everyone loves a team player. You want to do what's asked of you. Whether your boss is telling you to fetch coffee or stay an extra hour or whatever it is, it may not be in your job title, but you need to be willing to do it. Because if it's going to get you one step closer to what it is that you want to do, why not do it? I mean, that's a duh. So get out of the habit of, you know, saying, oh, that's not my job, that's not what I was asked to do, that's outside of my qualifications or outside of what I was brought here to do, and just do it. And sometimes don't even wait till they ask you to do it. Just go ahead and do it. Take the initiative. And that's going to get you a lot further than saying what you ain't going to do, child. So on to our third point, which is you're focused on vertical movement, which sometimes can be tricky. People get so focused on making sure the next thing that they do is bigger than the last and bigger than the last and higher up than the last and a bigger title, better title. And especially in this day and age where social media is basically a competition of who can outdo the other, it becomes problematic for you when all you do is think about what can I do next. Whatever is next needs to be bigger than the last. Think about some linear movement. It's okay to move from side to side on the same plane. You don't need to go from internship to, you know, editorial staff right then. You may need to do some other internships which are on that same plane, because in the end it's going to hone your skills, it's going to strengthen whatever skills that you do have, it's going to afford you some new connections, and at the end of the day it's a learning opportunity, and you never want to turn down a learning opportunity. So don't beat yourself up if you're not always making vertical movement. Your next move doesn't always have to be higher up than your last. If you're making movement, then you're on the right track. Our last point is you spend more time focused on grades than you do on career moves. And this is something that I talk to my bombshells, shout out to Bombshells in Business, my student org. This is something that I tell my bombshells about all the time. I tell them that school is supplemental to experience, not the other way around. And a lot of people go to college, and it's no shade to your grades. Yes, good grades are always encouraged. Classes come first, of course. But you have to get experience. I mean, for a lack of a better words, when you roll up in an interview, don't nobody care what your GPA is. They ask to see your resume. They don't ask to see your transcript, and that's for a reason. They want to make sure that you have experience and skills and connections, and that you can be out in the real world, because an advantage of going out and interning and getting that experience outside of school is that when you come back, you have both things comparatively. I go to class and sometimes I'll be like, my editor ain't never asked me to write in AP style like that. But you know, students who may not have interned don't have any clue about what the industry standard is versus the textbook standard. And you really want to make sure you're exploring that while you're in school. Don't neglect to get experience. I've met people who wait till their senior year or their junior year to start interning, mentoring, shadowing, and they regret it. Because they're just like, now I have to go out into the workforce and compete with people who have 5 and 6 years of experience on me. And quite honestly, you don't need a degree to do what you desire to do. I'm a published journalist. I've written for plenty of publications, and I graduated May 9th, 2015, so I don't have nan degree. So I encourage you guys to do that. The fifth one, oh, we gotta talk about it, y'all. You don't dress the part. Girl, you got to dress the part. And I don't mean, I never advocate for like stiff business suit, collar, and stuff like that. That's just not my industry. But also, I'm always going to say first, know your industry, know your work environment. If that's what's required for you in the workplace, then you need to look that way. And you can find other ways to, you know, add your flavor in here and there. But you always need to dress the part. Now, does that mean you need to go to class every day in a business suit? No, it doesn't. But does it mean you need to look presentable? You need to look put together? And yes, we all have our off days. But for the majority of the time, you need to look like you got somewhere to go. People roll up on me every day, be like, where you going today? Where you coming from? Girl, I'm coming from class. And if I want to be on somebody's camera or somebody's TV, I need to look like it every day. So, you know, you want to make sure that you're putting effort into your appearance, because that's what it comes off as. Sometimes when you don't put effort into your appearance, it can come off as lazy. And you may not have even intended it to come off that way, but it does to people who don't know you, because that's their perception of you, that you're not well put together, that you're sloppy, and that you may be lazy. And you don't want people to perceive you as lazy, not when you get in that work. So that's the list of common mistakes that millennial gals may make in their 20s, and that's okay if you made those mistakes. You're informed now. I charge you to share this with your friends. If you have any more tips or any mistakes that you feel like are common and that women our age make, leave them down below in the comments section. And if you like the content, go on over to bronzebombshell.com. There's more content like this, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos. Talk to you guys later.